right, welcome to the Patriot Hour for Friday, March 29th. It's early morning. We got some articles to go over here. There's been tons of new Q updates, drops, breadcrumbs updates. I'm going to get to them here in a little bit, maybe in the next video. A lot of them are just showing different Twitter accounts, QAnon followers, and just there's tons of them. So I might make some kind of meme video to show those in a easier to digest manner. But all right, we got this article here. Again, if you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. I'm Michael. This is a Patriot Hour where we bring you tidbits of information to help you collectively connect the dots, go over tons of different articles, believe nothing that we say to be truth, connect your own dots, do all your own piecing together of information, come to your best conclusive idea based off tons of different articles. You have to chew the meat and spit out the bone. All right, think for yourself, do for yourself. That's what we promote here at the Patriot Hour. Never let anyone drive you. All right, here we go. This comes from the DC Dirty Laundry. Bombshell lawsuit claims FBI knowingly hid evidence from Congress of explosives used on 9/11. Make this a bit bigger here. So in yet another major move from the great folks over at the Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry, architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth, and 9/11 victim family members Robert McLevine and Barbara Kowalski Rastelli, a joint federal lawsuit has been filed to access any evidence the FBI may have known about that contributed to the destruction of the towers on 9/11, which they may have kept from Congress. The complaint cites the failure of the FBI and its 9/11 Review Commission to access key 9/11 related evidence that the FBI can be shown to have had or been aware of regarding 1. The use of pre-placed explosives to destroy the World Trade Center, buildings 1, 2, and 7. 2. The arrest of investigation of the high-fivers observed photographing and celebrating the attacks on the World Trade Center on 9/11. 3. Terrorist financing related to the reported Saudi support for the 9/11 hijackers. 4. Recovered plane parts, including serial numbers from all 3 crash locations. 5. Video from cameras mounted inside and outside the Pentagon. And 6. Cell phone communications from passengers aboard the airplanes. According to the press release on architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth, this is evidence relevant to the 9/11 Review Commissions and the FBI's compliance with the mandate from Congress, which should have been accessed by the FBI and the 9/11 Review Commission and reported to Congress. The complaint also cites the destruction of the FBI evidence related to the high-fivers. Architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth has joined in bringing the counts that involve the evidence of the World Trade Center's explosive demolition and evidence related to the high-fivers, while the other plaintiffs are party to all counts. So here's a video here, Architects and Engineers. It's about an hour and 40 minutes. You can check that out. I'll leave this link down below. So as TFTP previously reported, a monumental step forward in the relentless pursuit of 9/11 Truth took place last December when a United States attorney agreed to comply with federal law requiring submission to a special grand jury of evidence that explosives were used to bring down the World Trade Centers. Then, earlier this month, the group behind the submission, the Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry, announced the filing of a petition supplement naming persons who may have been information related to the use of said explosives. According to the architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth, the 33-page document contains 15 different categories of persons who may have information material to investigation, including contractors and security companies that had access to the WTC towers before 9/11, persons and entities who benefited financially from that WTC demolitions, and persons arrested after observed celebrating the WTC attacks. A names redacted version of the petition supplement, which was filed with the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York on February 14th, 2019, has been made available to the public. The unredacted version filed with the U.S. Attorney today will remain undisclosed in the interest of maintaining secrecy, security, and integrity of grand jury proceeding. As TFTP reported in December, for the first time since 9/11, the federal government is taking steps to hear evidence that explosives may have been used to destroy the World Trade Centers. The Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry successfully submitted a petition to the federal government demanding the U.S. Attorney present to a special grand jury extensive evidence of yet-to-be prosecuted federal crimes relating to the destruction of 3 World Trade Centers on 9/11, WTC-1, WTC-2, and WTC-7. After waiting months for the reply, the U.S. Attorney responded in a letter noting that they will comply with the law. We have received and reviewed the Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry, Inc.'s submission of April 10th and July 30th of 18. We will comply with the revisions of 18 U.S.C. S-332 as they relate to your submissions, U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Bremen stated. According to the petition, dozens of exhibits were presented as evidence that the explosives were used to destroy all 3 World Trade Centers. The Lawyers Committee April 10th 52-page original petition was accompanied by 57 exhibits, presented extensive evidence that explosives were used to destroy 3 WTC towers on 9/11. That evidence included independent scientific laboratory analysis of WTC dust samples showing the high presence of high-tech explosives and or incendiaries. Numerous first-hand reports by first responders of seeing and hearing explosions at the World Trade Center on 9/11. Expert analysis, seismic evidence, and explosions occurred at WTC towers on 9/11, both prior to the airplane's impacts and prior to the building's collapses. An expert analysis and testimony by architects, engineers, and scientists concluding the rapid onset, systematically near free fall acceleration collapse of these 3 WTC high-rise buildings on 9/11 exhibited the key characteristics of controlled demolition. The July 30th amended petition included the same evidence, but also addressed several additional federal crimes beyond the federal bombing crime addressed in the original petition. The Lawyers Committee concluded in the petitions that explosives and incendiary devices that had been placed at WTC were detonated, causing the complete collapse of World Trade Center, Twin Towers, and Building 7 on 9/11. The resulting tragic loss of life, that evidence permits no other conclusion, as a matter of science, as a matter of logic, and as a matter of law. The petition supplement is intended to assist a special grand jury by providing a roadmap of meaningful investigation to yet another to be prosecuted 9/11 WTC crimes that the Lawyers Committee has reported and documented in our petitions. Attorney David Mizwinkle, presidents of the Lawyers Committee boards of directors, said, finally, after nearly 2 decades of ridicule, dismissal, and outright intolerance from information contrary to the official story of what happened on 9/11. The public may finally learn the truth of what happened and who was behind it. If you'd like to help finance this lawsuit moving forward, you can donate to the page group here, courtesy of the Free Thought Project. So this Matt Argates is an honorably discharged veteran of the USMC, United States Marine Corps, and former intelligence operator directly tasked by the NSA. This prior experience gives him unique insight into the worlds of government, corruption, and the American police state. Argates has been an independent journalist for over a decade and has been featured on mainstream networks around the world. Argates is the editor-at-large at the Free Thought Project, FTP. All right. So, folks, we know there's been a CIA guy on his deathbed that confessed to 5 years prior to 9/11 putting nanothermite. They painted it on all the load-bearing pillars. They were going in for 5 years prior. He didn't know for 20 years military explosives expert, then gets hired in by the CIA. And he said for 15 to 20 years in the CIA, he did nothing but overseas jobs. And then finally he got tasked with one for here in the States. He didn't really question at this point. He was loyal to the government. But here he is on his deathbed, and he didn't know the full extent of 9/11. He just knew that he was doing something to a building. And then on the day that 9/11 happened, 5 years from the start of when he started doing things at that building, He saw it play out. He saw WTC 1 fall by a plane, 2 fall by a plane, and then his building that he wired up fell as well later that evening with no plane hitting it. You can only imagine that that's when this guy got the complete story of what happened that day. Well, I did building 7. Somebody else must have did these other 2. The planes coming in. People died on the planes. People died in the buildings. This is pretty bad. I never knew the extent. And that's compartmentalization, all right? These guys were tasked. You don't worry about you're going to do this building here. They don't tell you the whole story when they tell you what you're going to be doing. Like, by the way, in 5 years down the road, there's going to be a huge terrorist thing that plays out that day. And they just don't do that for you. They just tell you your job. And typically these people, after 20, 30, 40 years in these different branches of military or into the one of the 3-letter agencies, they kind of do things. Another fact is the first time that the WTC, one of the buildings, got bombed in 94, 95, 94, 93, 94, they broke a few pillars in the basement. There was a bomb there. This guy was working with the, again, like the CIA or FBI, and they were selling different bombs to terrorists, typically fake. The guy that was the go-between with working with the FBI directly, that would work with trying to help catch terrorists, they would always sell them a dummy bomb. Well, this one particular time, the FBI told this guy to make it a real bomb. The liquid that goes in is going to be real. This guy got sketchy. He's like, well, we always do fake bombs. Why would we sell a real one? And then he started recording the FBI agent, phone calls, making sure that he was getting out of this FBI guy the words of, yeah, make sure it's real and all, because this guy didn't want to go down. He thought he'd get screwed at the very end. This bomb ends up going off. So the FBI was fully aware, and that came out in the courts. This guy that, again, they tried coming at him, he had all this proof. You can look it up yourself. And he showed the phone calls and what was being said, that they were fully aware that this bomb was real. They sold it. They let the people actually use it. But the Trade Center did not fall that day. But they broke out most of the columns in the basement floor of that. That's the one Trump talked about going in after it went off. Days, weeks later, tons of people got to go through and look around this basement parking garage where columns were completely blown apart, but the building still stood. And there you go. You had implication of the FBI being involved, selling bombs to terrorists, real bombs at that, not to prosecute them, not to stop them before they do anything, but to let them go ahead and do something. And nothing comes out of this crap all these years in the past. So that's what we're trying to change. That's what we're hoping for. Again, I just wanted to bring you this article. What do you guys think? Leave comments down below. Look for more videos throughout the day today. Make sure you're subscribed here to the Patriot Hour. Make sure you ring the bell. Make sure you toggle that switch. So when we put out a video, you'll get the alert. You'll get the alert from us the minute we drop it. And your phones, devices, tablets, whatever will buzz, alarm, something will go off to let you know that, yeah, Patriot Hour's got a new video out. And then you can watch it as soon as we drop it. Again, all the links are down below for this article and the links to donate. We appreciate all the donations in the last few weeks. Again, I'm Michael. This is the Patriot Hour. God bless. Godspeed each and every one of you. We'll see you back here real soon on the next Patriot Hour update video. Have a great morning into your afternoon.